I'm glad you named those guys being the best guys, and then the second list. That's where we're gonna have to head to our next conversation, and it's a sad one. Is Ja Morant was either on that list a couple years ago or heading towards that list, and
Well,
with
he
everything
wasn't. He
going on,
wasn't.
being suspended by the team, I just
Yeah.
do you think
I
it's
don't.
time for a fresh start? Are you have you given up? Or
Yes.
what,
Yes. 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 I haven't given up on Ja. I've given up on Ja in Memphis, and it has nothing to do with their coaching staff or front office. It's just where their relationships at, and where his energy's at. It's not even them. It's what I'm looking at. Again, we're only on the outside. I'm not in Memphis. I never played in Memphis. I never lived there. Thankfully, and I don't have any. I, I don't have any ties. I don't have any ties. So I'm super on the outside looking in here. From what I'm getting and from what we're all seeing on the internet, the suspensions, it's been a very bumpy road the past couple of years. Okay. It's not been smooth sailing for Ja in Memphis as a whole. Let's just talk about it. Take with exception the first year or two where he was just exploded on the scene and people thought he's a reincarnation of Derrick Rose. To fast forward to now, you're right. Now, was he ever in the top 5 players in the NBA? No, he was not on that list. But he was on that he was in that second tier. He was on his way. But first off, second tier guys, we're talking about Anthony Edwards, talking about Jalen Brunson. We're talking about superstars too. Not superstars, but yeah, they are. We're talking about
no,
1A,
super
1B
yes.
guys.
I think
Yeah,
John
we're talking
Morant
about
was superstar. He was a
yeah,
top seed in the West. But those Dylan Brooks teams, until they got rid of Dylan Brooks, who seemed like he was a big part of the identity over there, and they used him as the scapegoat to get him out of there. Those teams were dangerous, and I thought
yeah, they
they
were.
were in contention. Yeah,
With when they had Dylan and Baines and Ja and Triple J, they were, and then even like they had some of those other guys, long, lanky guys off the bench who could play. They were
Brandon
dangerous.
Clark,
Like,
who's always, has been
yeah,
dealing
yeah,
with injuries.
yeah. Brandon Clark, who's been up down injuries, but he's a good roller for them. Played hard. You know what, man? I say this: guys are hurt more when the team's bad, though. Like if all those guys are on the team and they're winning a lot of games, Brandon Clark finds a way to be back on the court. It just happens. But
Yeah,
when you go play for a shitty team, man, your team's not winning. Like, who's throwing Brandon Clark in the pick and roll pass right now? He's just like, I don't want to play. It just
right.
happens. I'm just
It's like
telling you,
Grant
the
Williams on
worst
the
team.
Hornets right now. Grant Williams is
Yeah, it's like
injured on the Hornets. I don't think they're bringing him
I
out
haven't
yet.
seen Grant Williams in 2 years play. You know what I mean? Like he's hurt right now at the Hornets.
Take your
If he was
time.
with if he was on a really good team right now, you just find a way back to the court a little bit faster. It's just
Right.
how it works. Um, so yeah, it's tough, man. I think it's time for Ja to get out of there. And again, it's not a reflection on Memphis as an organization. I don't think they've done anything wrong. This is a reflection of what I'm seeing on the outside of what the relationship looks like and the energy I'm getting from Ja and the overall play. Did you watch the game versus the Lakers?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's just a certain energy and zip I'm used to seeing that kid play with. He used to play
He,
with this
he looked like he
infectious.
didn't really want the ball in the fourth when he got put back in,
Nah, it's
and
just a
yeah,
strange jaw to see. You know, we were accustomed when Ja Morant first came in the NBA, he was like a second coming of Derrick Rose. Now he didn't have that strength and size that Derrick had, but he had the explosiveness, and he had the speed, and he had the ability to jump in the air and do things that you've never seen a guard be able to do. He is that freakish of an athlete. Ja Morant has some of the best dunks I've seen in the past 15 years of the NBA. I'm talking about the past 50 years of the NBA. He has like 5 of them. He has unbelievable plays. He is one of the freakiest athletes to ever play in our game. And we see this the first couple of years, him take this jump. Hell, he was playing better than Ant at one point. Do you know what I'm saying?
right.
That's where we kind of compared him to. Like him and Ant were going to be some of these new American faces. And it just hasn't gone that way. Ants continue to just climb. And some of these other players, Tatum, all these other guys have just continued to climb. And Jaws just stayed right there. His jump
And
shot hasn't.
him and Zion got drafted together, 1 and 2, and I truly think those two guys, along with Ant, these guys were going to be like the Team USA of the future with those three athletic freaks. And to
Yeah.
see Zion and Ja both look like they probably, I mean, the Pelicans are 0-6 or something.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
like both of them would benefit off just a fresh start somewhere else, right? Like
For
I
sure.
saw Norman Powell talk about being in the Heat and what he's noticed, and he said players around the NBA look at the Heat like you have to be in shape. It's a lot of work. I don't know, and now he's like, now that I'm there, I love it. I love being held accountable. That's kind of what you want right now for a guy like Ja or Zion, who's dealt with weight issues.
The
Ja with off the
questions
court stuff.
the questions offer what could he handle that? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Can Zion handle that? He has his own, you know, people involved who run his health stuff. Remember, they butted heads with New Orleans. His food, his diet. Could he be in Miami? Could he take that? Could he play under Pat Riley? Could he live in Miami? Talk about the off the court stuff. Could Ja Morant be in Miami? I don't. You know what I'm saying? Can he not only thrive in Miami as a human being? Can he play for that strict of an organization? I'm just telling you. This is what I'm saying. Like, so some of these guys aren't cut out for this shit. I at some point we got to look at the player. These max player guys get to do whatever they want. They have most of the power. So when I see a relationship go sour, not to say that the front office doesn't do shit, because they do. All right, not to say that coaches don't make mistakes, because they do. All right, this is a group fuck up right now, what we're seeing with Zion and Ja. But you got to look at the player. Okay, at the end of the day, the players are the guys who are going to give you. You only get what you're going to get with them. If their energy's right, then this thing's off. You can already see Josh getting suspended. We're not even 3 weeks in the season. He got suspended from his own team, from telling the media, go ask the coaches. They know. That's terrible.
Yeah.
So it's like, where does this go forward? I don't know. They're not good. They don't have a good team. Okay, so his frustrations with that alone are not going to help. He's a very talented player still. So I'm not giving up on Ja. I'm giving up on Ja in Memphis. I think Ja could go somewhere else and be electric. Same with Zion. Zion's numbers are still very strong. What he puts up, their team's terrible. They haven't won a game, but he's out there with like 27 and 12. Do you know how many teams could
True.
use Zion? Can you imagine Zion playing with like Luka as a lob threat or something? Like, I don't know. Like, it'd be insane. Like, some of these guys are very capable. Zion, Ja, if we're specifically talking about them, and I think they both need to move on from their situations. I think a
It's so
fresh start
easy
can
for
can,
us
can
to, and I
rebrand
know
a
it's easy
player.
for people to just watch and say, trade your star, trade your franchise guy who's been the guy for, 5 or 6 years or whatever. I know it's a lot to trade your main guy, unless you're Nico Harrison, you just trade him overnight. No one even, everyone's just like out of nowhere on that. But it does feel like, yeah, like if you get a healthy Zion, which looks like he's healthy right now, or Ja, who his stuff's been primarily off the court. Yeah, he's dealt with some injuries here and there. It's primarily off the court. Man, I just would really like to see them. And I know the Spurs don't have it, like the Spurs organization or the Heat, the Celtics. These are organizations that seem to get the best out of guys. And I really think that these guys, they're still really young, man. Like I'm not giving
Sometimes
up.
sometimes a young star player needs to go to a team that's bigger than them. Zion's bigger than the Pelicans. I hate saying it, but it is. The Pelicans have zero culture. They've historically, I'm not talking about currently, historically, we're a very poorly run team in a city that doesn't promote or love the game of basketball. It's a football city. There's zero culture. There's zero winning culture. They don't have any banners up. Half the crowd that comes, they come for the good games to watch the other players score 40. Do you know exactly what I'm talking about? It's
Right.
like when the Lakers played New Orleans, half the crowd is wearing Lakers jerseys. They come to watch the good players hoop against their home team. They ooh and ah every time, Kate Cunningham does a cross. Ooh, what? That's not what you want. I don't want to be wearing a white jersey in front of my home crowd, and I'm guarding Ant, and Ant hits me with a cross, and the crowd's like, ooh, bro, whose team are you on? Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the
Yeah.
culture of some of these teams. Ja Morant is right now, currently, is bigger than Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant goes to Boston Celtics, you either fit in or you get out. You go to Miami, where this is run by Pat Riley. You go to Golden State. You go to the Spurs. Bro, their culture, the banners, it speaks for itself. You either get in or you either fit in or they get you out of there. And if you don't work out in those places, now you're typecasted as a bad guy. You have to make it work there. You
Yeah.
have to make it work. Just think, it took Kyrie forever. Kyrie didn't work out with the Celtics, and then he went to Brooklyn. People were killing Kyrie for years as a person. Now everyone loves him again. All right, but when you go to these teams where the star is bigger than the whole franchise, how the hell are you gonna? It's too much. It rarely works out unless you get someone very humble and low key like a Giannis with Milwaukee, low maintenance, Nikola. These are rare situations where a star is bigger than their franchise, and it's because they're, I don't know if it's the foreign aspect. I don't know what it is. They're very low maintenance to deal with. They're very humble stars. You go somewhere like some of these other guys where Zion has his people running his diet, Zion has people running his health thing, and there's all. You don't get to do that in Miami. They'd be like, who's this dude? We're not hiring him. Look what's happened with the Clippers. They have no culture of winning, right? I love the Clippers. I'm a former Clipper. Kawhi Leonard has his boys running this, and that. It's just a lot. So you have to live and die by what Kawhi wants. That's what they've had to do. When he plays well, it's great. When he doesn't play well, there's no answers. No one knows what's going on because he's bigger than they gave him everything. Some of these other teams don't offer you stuff like that. It's a privilege to play for them. The Lakers ain't giving you that. Remember, that's what he was close to going to LA. Lakers like, we're not hiring you. We're not doing all that.
And there was rumors about LeBron in Miami where they wouldn't let his friends fly the plane or things like that. And that's
Fly the
LeBron
plane.
James.
That's
if they're not giving it to LeBron, like that,
they took away his cookies.
Bigger.
That story Dwayne Wade told about LeBron tried to have cookies on the plane and they threw them away because Pat Riley thought they were unhealthy. And LeBron was like, I'm a grown man. Like, that's how that might be too much. That's too much micromanaging. I get it. But like,
if I'm running a team, LeBron could eat as many cookies as he wants.
Correct. If I was running a team, I would allow LeBron to have as many cookies as he wants. I wouldn't give a shit. But that's the dynamic of, I think right now with Ja and Zion, I think they've outgrown the situation. I think the organizations on the other end have outgrown it, where they're like, "Yeah, we've given you everything. This ain't worth it no more." Goes both sides too. I'm talking about as a player, from a player perspective, what I see from Ja and Zion. On the other end, I'm sure Memphis is like, we're tired of giving you everything because it ain't leading to winning. So we're just going to rebuild and we're going to suspend you. You're talking about us. You can see where it's at. On both sides, they're sick of this shit. So it's just like, yeah.
Also, it goes both ways. Austin, think about this. We're talking about the player who can get a fresh start, like Kevin Garnett going to the Celtics, right? The first year he wins a title, it's a fresh start. Like, man, he should have left Minnesota a long time ago. How about the organization? Remember when the Pacers got off Paul George and it was kind of an ugly ending? You know, after a few years of rebuilding, they ended up going to the finals. So, like, it's also good for the organization sometimes to let go and move on and start that rebuilding process.
And it's hard. It's hard to do it. It's hard to do it. I mean, because you flash back and you think of the Pelicans organization, found out they got the number 1 pick. The entire office was running through the halls, throwing papers like it's the last day of school because they're like, yo, we're going to get a guy who's going to change our infrastructure of the city around. He's going to bring millions into our brand. He's going to bring billions to the franchise, to the city. We're going to have a competitive, bro. Pelicans can have a top 2-3 guy in the NBA. Oh my God. Think about that. That's what happened. These people's lives change when you get a young star like Zion or a Ja who's coming in as a top pick in the draft, 1 or 2 pick in the draft. They were 1 and 2. And then they have the success they have. Remember, game 1, he's hitting the threes versus the Spurs. Everybody's just like, yo, this is it. This is our future right here. This is the guy. And then it just kind of, and again, Zion's still a very, very high level player, but it has not gone the way they've wanted it to go. And there's been trouble on the court and off the court with these dudes, both these players. So you then wonder yourself, and are these great markets for basketball just coincidentally? They're not. When we talk about expansion in the NBA or teams moving, these are usually the first 2 teams that people talk about. When you listen to Adam Silver, some of these other guys, or all these people talk about expansion teams, Seattle or Vancouver or whoever gets these new teams, Mexico City, Vegas, the teams that people talk about, if we're not going to add a team, if we're talking about moving a team, the first 2 cities that pop up are usually Memphis and New Orleans. It's the first 2 teams.
But what I like about Memphis is that they had those Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol years, and they went to the conference finals. They were good recently. They've proven
that
to be...
That's the only thing that Memphis can have is that they've proven to be good recently. And over the past 10, 12 years, we can call it, Memphis has been solid at the very least. They've always had good teams, and their crowd has shown up. Like when those playoff games, it used to be a very ruckus crowd in there, so they do have a fan base there. What you have to give Memphis the benefit of the doubt over New Orleans. New Orleans, I've just never seen it. The fans only show up when it's the playoffs. They don't even have half interest, and even there, the guys, from a knowledge standpoint, it's just not a basketball city. They're like, oh, that I know, they didn't know what was going on. They're looking at me like, what the hell is going on? But yeah, that's my take on it. I would like both of those guys to kind of go to a fresh start. Fresh start's exciting. When you get a new player with a new jersey, it gives life. It gives life not only to the player but the fans. You get excited about seeing a guy in a new situation. So I think where we're at now with both teams, we've seen enough. I would love to see Ja in a new jersey, and it would be exciting to watch Ja in a new situation because he's so talented, and so is Zion. No one's questioning these guys as players if they're capable of being great or not. We know they're great. But for whatever reason, the places that they were drafted to, it's gotten toxic. and it just hasn't produced the best of them as of recently or for their team.